So some general MLOps challenges that Iguazio has helped to overcome. The first one that I think a lot of people are familiar with, or should be, is the gap between experimentation and deployment. It's kind of, in my opinion, that's like the number one reason we go to MLOps, is it helps manage this and reduce that gap significantly. And specifically, there's this slow feedback loop, right? So to go from testing something locally or on a VM to deploying it at scale on a Kubernetes cluster can often take time, and that slow feedback loop is where you lose a lot of momentum in your projects. And so what Iguazio allows us to do is really go from testing code locally to running at scale on a remote cluster like within minutes. So I can get a new intern in here, and within 2 weeks they're running something locally with a minimal size data set, and then deploying it on the cluster to scale to multiple gigs of data, for example, to do more formal testing. From there, also, you're really just testing the implementation scalability from the beginning. So like whether it's a new project or just a new feature, on an existing project, you can test that scalability right from the start, as opposed to spending a long time on the proof of concept and the research and not really understanding how will that actually scale in practicality with the factory, kind of an idea. So a lot of the other ones are pretty standardized. There wasn't really a unified experiment tracking or collaboration at Seagate. There was a lot of people using a lot of open source tools very effectively, but there was a divergence there among teams. And so Iguazio really allows us to have shared projects, detailed logging of parameters, metrics, and machine learning artifacts, and especially the artifact versioning using like labels and tags, and being able to associate data. So like if I train a model and save it, being able to save the encoder that's used with that model, et cetera, has been super beneficial, and be able to return that during inference.